Welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to be doing a Microvast stock analysis. Now, as you can see, recently the stock price has increased quite a lot. As you can see, back here in April we were trading just about $1, and as you can see currently we're up at 6.24, meaning we're up by almost 600%. And the reason for this huge explosion recently is because they've finally managed to make some proper solid state batteries, and these are quite nice because a solid state battery has no fluid in them like normal batteries do. That is normal lithium ion batteries, which means solid state batteries are much safer. Now, as you can see, this company, however, is quite small, so still is a high volatility company. You can also see that down here in the beta at minus 2.53, so it is a very volatile company. So if you're going to invest in this, you need to be really secure about how much risk you want to take. Now, if I make the stock a bit bigger, as you can see, it really is the best. As you can see, a lot of people have bought, of course, and they are sitting at a loss. Of course, so be very careful, because in companies like this, say everyone who bought up here, when they want to take or reduce their losses, of course, let's say it then increases to, let's say, 7.5. Everybody here is thinking, all right, great, now it's at 7.5. I want to reduce my loss, and then they sell at that point. So be very careful, as that can happen. Now, their earnings, as you can see, they've surprised quite a lot this year, which is absolutely amazing. And they also increased their EBITDA guidance by 50 million, which is amazing. Now, if you look at dividends, they don't pay out in dividends, of course, because they don't make any money, as you can see. But as you can see, they're investing more and more, and they're generating higher and higher revenue. Now, as you can see in the revenue, how they make money, of course, it is electronic power products. And you can see which countries they're in. They're huge in Italy, China, and they're also relatively large in India, which is quite interesting because it is quite an undervalued market, I think, because of course some people might not look at India as a developed country, but in the future, of course, we're gonna need electric vehicles in India as well, because it is a huge country. So I actually like that, and also the fact that they're huge in Italy, because of course Italy is a car manufacturing country, so it is nice to see that. And of course, that's just meaning they're having in some country in Europe is nice, especially because it's mostly Denmark, Holland, and Norway, which are insanely large on electronic vehicles. So this is just nice because they can just, of course, make cars that they can then sell to the other parts of Europe. Now, the overview of this, as you can see, they have quite a large shares of closely held shares. These are shares that cannot be sold yet because there is a lockup period on them. And this is usually by maybe the CEO or some other investors who invested on the IPO. Now, they have a relatively large amount of debt compared to the market cap. Of course, this is because it has risen so fast lately. I'm highlighting this because if it was still down here, of course, the market cap would be a lot smaller. It would be a fifth of what it is today, and then that would be the same as the market cap. So that is my only thing I'm not a huge fan of in this company, is the debt. Now, they have a relatively nice amount of cash considering what type of company it is. They also have a large amount of employees, of course, and that is needed to develop this new battery technology. Now, if you look at their price to sales, as you can see, it's just dropping. Last year it was at 1.74, and currently we're at 4.02. So still, it's quite a cheap company compared to the price to sales. But then again, they're still in a negative revenue, so we can't take the PE into consideration. Now, if we go down and look at the seasonals of this, as you can see, since 2019, it has had quite some rides. As you can see, some years it's up, like this year it's up by 160%, and then we have some years like last year up by 47%, and then we have some years like 2022, 2021 down by 63 and 74%. So it is a very high risk company. So if you want to buy this, you really need to have your risk parameters in order. Now, where could this stock go? To be honest, it would not surprise me if this hit about $200 within, let's say, 5 years. I know that sounds absolutely crazy, but personally, I do think Microvast Holdings is this battery winner, because there's a ton of companies on the stock exchange which do battery technology, but I see Microvast as the clear winner. Now, technicals first, for the day, it's a strong buy, and for the month, it is still a strong buy. Now, being said, it's worth $200. We could see what I like to call a nuclear state of this company. That happens in stocks often, where it's quite hyped now, but we could easily see it drop all the way back down, back down here. If you think, oh, this is not hype anymore, I want to take my profits and run. So of course, be very careful. Something else you should notice, as you can see down here, the volume. We barely have any volume at all in this stock, which means it's a few people driving the stock upwards, because the higher this down here is, the more trades being made. You can also see it up here. As you can see, the average volume is below 9 million. That is absolutely crazy. And recently it has been about 17, 18 million, which is of course also quite a risen, but that also might mean we're in a bit of a hype currently. So of course, always be careful when you see a volume now that is a lot greater than the average volume. It is more than twice the volume, so it is a bit of a hype at the moment. Now the technicals, not the technicals, the analyst rating this are great. We have two, and they're at $5 and $6. So currently the average is actually below Now, it doesn't surprise me at all, given how fast it has absolutely exploded, and of course it wouldn't surprise me to fall down, but as you can see also today, where it had a huge rise of 19%, it wouldn't surprise me if tomorrow it makes a minus 7%, but it could also make a plus 20% again. These small companies are so extremely volatile, so be careful. I cannot reiterate that enough. Now they're estimating to make money in the EPS, of course, next year, which is of course lovely to see, and their annual earnings as well. As you can see, they're guiding it quite sharply, increasing more and more and more. And if they can get their solid-state battery to work, that's going to be absolutely amazing. Personally, as I have said, I don't own any of this stock, and that's because I didn't get in early, and I fear this might happen. But I'm definitely going to buy up if they can trade sideways or just make some more proper money. Now, if you like this video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And of course, remember, if you want to see more videos like this, please leave the company comments analyze in the comment section below.